Hi guys. So today I kind of wanted to talk about something. I'm gonna try to make it honest. I don't want to necessarily say quick because I want to get into some stuff, but at the same time, if I get too into it, it'd be a long video. So, sorry if my camera's kind of shaky. I'm trying to hold it and prop it up on my leg. I wanted to talk about my disability. I have 3 different kinds of epilepsy, and as I'm recording, you'll probably be able to see one of them. It's my main disability. I've had epilepsy for 21 years. I got diagnosed when I was 6. I am now 27. Sorry. Okay, so when I pause, I had either a seizure or something, and I lose my train of thought, and I forget, something like that. So, my seizures, let's say my main seizure, and we'll call it my main one, my secondary, my third one, or my first, second, third, whatever. So my first kind of seizure, the one I have all the time, I have a minimum of 10 of those a day, and at max I have probably about 200, depending on what's going on. So those are called petit mal seizures. And if you look at my eyes as I'm recording this, and you see it kind of looks like a blink, or like my eyes are fluttering, or like I look off to the side, that's a seizure. So petit mal seizures, I don't get an aura. I don't know when I'm having them. I don't get anything. They just happen, and they last about, like I said earlier, if you're like looking at my eyes and you see it's kind of like a long blink, or whatever it is, that is a seizure, and that is how long they usually last. So it's not that I still have epilepsy. It's just not like ones like grand mal seizures where you'll be shaking and like on the ground, turning blue, foaming at the mouth, you know, unconscious. It's not anything like that at all. It is just easy. It is just not really easy. It's because there's a lot more, there's a lot to it, but it's just not on the severe side. It's more mild. But I'm not going to put down the in-between or say that someone that has milder form of epilepsy isn't bad, because epilepsy is bad, and in some cases people can die from epilepsy. So I just wanted to talk about my epilepsy, my different kinds, and kind of explain some of what I've been through over 26 years of, no, not 26 years, I lied, 21 years, 26 years, I was 21 years, sorry, what I've been through over 21 years with epilepsy. So when I got diagnosed when I was 6, both me and my brother went to get 2 vaccines, the MMR and DPT, and we got them at the same time. And at this time in the 90s, pharmaceutical companies were having their vaccines, they put what's it called, a preservative in the vaccines to keep the shelf life from 6 months to a year. So the shelf life, instead of it lasting 6 months, it will last 1 year. And in the preservatives that they were putting in had mercury. So me and my brother both got mercury poisoning to our brain, and we found out that we had a sensitivity kind of like the idea, if you don't know someone's allergic to peanuts, they eat something with peanuts and you find out they're allergic. Kind of something like that. The only problem is for both me and my brother, it caused permanent disabilities. My brother became autistic and I became epileptic. And that is a forever thing. Our brains are permanently damaged because of it. So when I started having epilepsy, I'm going to try to go over as much as I can think of at the time. But if I need to, if you guys have any questions, please comment down below and I'll make a secondary video about it. I'm just going to try to get as much as I can that I can remember or think of at the top of my head. With that part being said, something about my disability with my epilepsy is I tend to forget. I have a seizure, I forget, I lose my train of thought, and so conversation or doing this is kind of all over the place sometimes. I'm really sorry about if my camera's really wobbly. I'm trying to hold it as still as possible, but it is a little easier said than done. So where was I? Dude, I totally lost where I was going with this. Okay, so my seizures, they are caused, the biggest trigger is the sun, and that is hard to avoid. So I do certain things to make it easier for me to go out. I have to wear big glasses. There's going to be a lot of Disneyland examples. Like this one, like at Disneyland. Since a lot of the lines are outside, if we're waiting in line and it's a long time, then I find somewhere nearby and I sit in the shade, and my mom or my dad will text me and let me know when we're about to get up there, and I'll just meet them up there. That way there is less chance of me having seizures. And there are a lot of different ways of doing that. Like I've had this for 21 years. I know how to deal with these things. Also, if I don't get enough sleep, if I'm really stressed out, anxiety, strobe lights, and those are also triggers for my secondary seizure, which is absent seizures. That basically, I don't have those as often. I would say maybe a few times a month at best. Maybe 2 to 3 times a month, and that's a good month. And that just looks like that I think the longest that I've had of those was probably about 5 minutes. And when I come out, it looks like I'm daydreaming. So I could be in the middle of a conversation and I'll just start staring off into space, but that's actually a seizure, and I'm not like you could snap your fingers in front of me, like nothing happens. And it's just like I'm not there. And then I come out of the seizure, and sometimes depending on how long it was, I can be kind of confused. And be like, Kristen, are you okay? Do you know where you are? Do you know what we were talking about? Do you know what was going on? And it's, yes or no. I don't have those as much, but when I do, I just kind of wait until I come out of it. I don't usually have any kinds of seizures that I would pass out. If I don't take my medication, or if I have a lot of my triggers in that one day, I will have a grand mal seizure where I do become unconscious. I do start shaking, foaming at the mouth. I do have those, but I don't think I've had one in about 5 years, because I've been trying to be really good about everything. So, my main seizure, my main form of epilepsy was caused by vaccines. And And my secondary one was caused by being in a 6-car collision car accident. I had hit my head. I wasn't strapped. I wasn't in the seat properly. I wasn't feeling good. We were leaving my grandparents' house and I wasn't feeling good, and I went to go lay down. I was in the middle seat. It was just the you know, the strap that goes across the lap bar kind of strap. I don't know what you call it. Lap strap. The belt lap. I don't know. The one that goes across your lap. It doesn't go across the shoulder or anything. I just had that. I loosened it all the way, and I laid down. I put my head on one side and my feet was on my brother's lap. And when we got into this car accident, someone was speeding and they hit one car, and then that car hit another car, and that car hit another car, and then that car, and it hit us, and then we hit another car. And it was a 6-car collision. And that person was going so fast that it pushed 6 cars into each other. And I had went forward, hit my head. I had like a little cut and was bleeding a little bit. And then because I wasn't strapped in, my top half went forward and went onto the ground. So and then after that, I had like whiplash and problems with my back, and I still do on occasion. And then that's when the absent seizures started. It's all kind of, the triggers for both of those kinds of seizures are the same. The sun, stress, anxiety, not having my medicine, strobe lights, which I really love haunted houses, and I really love horror movies. The thing is I always want to go into a haunted, like, maze, or haunted this, haunted that, like, haunted house. But when it comes to strobe lights, I have to cover my eyes. So usually I would have a friend or a family member. I would either have my glasses on and covering my eyes, or just covering my eyes, and they would have their hands on my arms or my shoulders guiding me, and they're like, okay, step up, turn left, turn right, all right, we're gonna stop here. And then I would hear them scream, and I'm like, what? And they're like, someone jumped out at me. I'm like, oh, like, I'm like, can I see? Nope, we're not out of it yet. And then when we get out of it, they're like, okay, you can look. And then once it starts, I could see in the distance there's gonna be strobe. I close my eyes just before, and I'm like, okay. And then cover my eyes again. So, sorry if there's so many pauses and the editing won't be very good because I'm still learning how. But all the ums and like pauses is, I'm trying to, as hard as I can, to try to stay on track of my thought. And it is very hard for me. But I wanted to get this done, and I wanted to show you guys, and some of my reason is not only to have that out there, so then it makes kind of sense for future videos, and it kind of is like more understanding of certain things. But also, if anybody is ever going through finding out their child or themselves or someone they know has a disability, epilepsy particular, and they watch my video, you know, there might be questions that they have that I can answer, or that they see in this video that they'll be like, okay, that makes sense. Things that are hard with having a disability, I should say, not just for epilepsy, is being discriminated on. And it might not be said around with people that have disabilities. They might not talk about it, but it is a thing. And just as much as some other people get discriminated on. And people that have disabilities like I do, that you look at the exterior and you see, oh, she looks normal, whatever normal is. She looks normal, and she doesn't have anything wrong with her. But then we're getting like this disability pass, or we're getting these things, and they make rude comments, or they don't understand. They say stuff, and it's like, no, I have this. And you know, versus somebody who's in a wheelchair, or somebody who's blind and has like a dog, like a service dog with them, or someone who's in a wheelchair, or someone who has Down syndrome, those visible disability, like, or has no legs or no arms or whatever, those ones people have more empathy towards, and they are like, oh, here, let me help you, let me, you know, let me do, I don't know, that they're more, yeah, the empathy is more there. But people that have more severe autism, but people that are low functioning autism, or have mild kinds of seizures that aren't very visible, or other things, I have been made fun of, like bullied. I have lost friends. Like, I have gotten like, you could just see the judgment in some situations. I have to have pretty much on a yearly basis an EEG machine done, an ambulatory, and that is, you might see it in one of my other videos down, I don't know how to look in the description, but if you go down to my previous videos, you'll see where I have this head wrap, and it goes around my neck, and that is, I have leads. If you don't know what an EEG is, it is like leads all over my head, and it is monitoring my seizures. I've gone to the store wearing this. I don't care, because I know it's for medical stuff. I've had to do it all the time, and people are staring at me. I've had to go to school and wear it for 3 days, an ambulatory one, and I had to wear it for 3 days, and I was made fun of. And for a 9-year-old, being in elementary school, being made fun of, other kids, I know they don't understand, but having them point at you when you when you're trying to understand yourself, when I'm trying to understand myself, what is going on with my body and why I need to do this. I am 9 years old, and I have other 9-year-olds or younger or older kids staring at me, laughing at me, pointing at me. I lost friends, and I know it's this way for other people, you know. Certain things happen in their life, and it's just like, you lose people, and it is hard also to make friends, because you don't know if they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to be your friend anymore because you have a disability. There are times where dating, honestly, you know, people are like, oh, I don't want to be with you because, like, you're nice, you're sweet, you're all this and that, but you have a disability, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And it makes you feel a certain type of way. You know, but also think that they're the ones missing out, because that's not who you are. They need to know your heart, your soul, and that's who you are. Your disability doesn't define who you are. That's just something you have. And I know, not only for myself, but hearing from other people, that people with disabilities, no matter what it may be, we all want to be treated the same, like everybody else. And sometimes we don't, and it's really sad that in this day and age that there are people that just look at it in a different light. So it is, I don't know, I just wish people would treat everyone the same. You know, I want to be treated the same, just like everybody else. And if you're watching this and you've been through this, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this and you haven't been through this, then understand that it is difficult. It is difficult, like, you know, feeling sometimes the glare of people staring at you or wondering why you get certain privileges. It's not, you know, yeah, I know I just said we want to be treated the same, but for me, personally, I get the disability pass. As much as I want to be treated the same, I get a disability pass going to Disneyland because the majority of their lines are outside in the sun where I could have a lot of seizures, and we don't want to take those risks. So getting the disability pass is kind of like the idea of a fast pass, and they just give you a time, you go there, they give you a time, you leave, you come back at that time, and you get right on the ride within a few minutes. But you can only use that if you have a disability. And I show them my disability card that for that I had to have a doctor's note, and I'd take it in somewhere, and they made it up. It had to be a documented thing. So and there are with every kind of disability, there are everyone has their own challenges, and we're just like everyone else, but we have a few more bumps in the road that we gotta get over. We gotta find our way to get through the finish line. It might take us longer, but we'll still get there. So, sorry, I had to turn the camera off. I had to do something, but for both of my seizures, there's quite a bit to go over. I'm looking into getting a service dog. Different insurances cover different amounts. I've seen some companies that go for $9,000 and some go for $35,000 for a service dog, which I really want a service dog. I think it would be very helpful, especially since I don't get an aura. I don't get a sign to let me know that I'm gonna have a seizure, and I don't feel my seizures happening. So having a service dog, I feel like, would benefit me quite a bit. I will know that I'm having a seizure. And so I'm looking into that. I have tried CBD. The problem is, like I just said, I don't know when I'm having a seizure. So I don't know if it's actually helping me or not. And my neurologist has said that there's no scientific proof with my specific type of seizure that CBD helps. But she said it wouldn't hurt to try. So I've been trying it on and off. Like, I would have a little bit here and there. Not staying consistent with it every day like I should. But that is, I don't think I can get it right now. I don't know. I'm sure you can, depending on, like, situations, but I don't feel like I am in desperate need of it. I feel like I can wait maybe until things open back up, or it gets more with this whole COVID thing. I don't know. I just feel like it is something I can wait on. I've gone 21 years without it. I think I'll be okay. I mainly like to use it when I'm going to be going to an amusement park, just in case if it does help. I like to use it like before going to Disneyland and stuff. Just like I said, just in case if it does help, then it will help. Then if it doesn't help, then it doesn't help. I don't know, but I can't drive. I really want to, but I can't. And because even though my seizures are 1 to 2 seconds long, my main seizures, the doctor said it only takes a second to get into a car accident and hurt somebody. Or yourself. So, I want to be able to drive. I can't drive. Currently, I rely on my mom or my dad to take me where I need to go, doctor's appointments and such, or I take an Uber, Lyft. Currently, I do not feel comfortable with the whole COVID stuff going around, taking an Uber or a Lyft. I just don't know who they've been around and stuff like that. It was a little uncomfortable to begin with, but now with this whole COVID thing, I'm just like, no. And that's pretty much all I can think about. I had more I know I wanted to say. I really should have written this down, but I think I forgot. If you have any questions on anything, please, please, please let me know in the comments, and I will write those down so I can make another video about it, answering your questions. And I want to do a Q&A with my mom so she could talk about what it was like, what it's like to be the parent of a child, or well, 2 children actually with disabilities, and what it was like trying to help me out, and from a parent's point of view. So also what my disability, what my epilepsy affects is so cognitive. I don't know exactly what these mean, but I hear my mom say them all the time. It affects my cognitive and my comprehension. So with my cognitive and my comprehension, I'm about an 8 to a 10-year-old level. Socially, I'm probably around my age, maybe a little younger. There are some things that I am a little gullible about, naive, certain things. So in those situations, in certain situations, I can be easily taken advantage of. I'm trying to be better at that, but it's just, sometimes I just very innocent. But even though I have a disability and I have that, I'm still, like, if you know me in person, you know that I am very goofy. I like to laugh, I like to smile, I like to make jokes. I'm outgoing, bubbly. Currently, right now, I'm a little shy. And I'm trying to remember a lot of things, so once I get comfortable, I think, with having, like, talking onto a camera, I think, well, like, not saying I'm not comfortable, just more, like, I don't know, like, I don't know, I lost what the word I was gonna say. Sorry about that, but hopefully you know what I mean. Maybe when it gets easier, then yeah. Really, where was I going with that? Lord help me, because I totally lost my train of thought. I apologize now. This is like, oh, it's gonna be a really long video. And like I said, I don't know editing. Oh geez, my battery's gonna die. I'm gonna stop right here. I will talk to you guys later in my next video. Bye!